When you think of a marketing company, where did they lose traction? They lose traction at the finish line. I can generate you all the leads that you want. What are you going to do to be able to close them? How are you going to prioritize those leads in a way where you're going to understand what they're actually looking for and be able to give them everything that they're looking for, educate them on which options would be better, and to be able to, I don't like to say close the deal, but to be able to assist them through the finish line with them choosing you as their insurance professional.
This is a story about an insurance agent who discovered artificial intelligence. No, not literally discovered artificial intelligence, but discovered how artificial intelligence can help insurance agents win more business.
There are levels to this game. How can I give more value back to my clients?
How'd you get into insurance?
My mother was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. As a man, I need to take that responsibility, full focus, and take care of what really needed to be taken care of.
How did Insure U2 come about?
Do I take this gamble? Do I jump on this plane?
This is Vaulted Views. I'm your host, Ray Lucia Jr., and this is where we discuss elevated perspectives on money, business, and life. This week, we've got a very special guest. This is a story about an insurance agent who discovered artificial intelligence. No, not literally, physically, personally, discovered artificial intelligence, but discovered how artificial intelligence can help insurance agents win more business. And so the unique combination of an old school insurance agent leveraging technology and accelerating his business. And so I hope you guys tune in, stay till the end. You're going to learn a lot this episode, especially if you aspire to build your own business, take some risk, and execute to perfection. And so welcome to the show, Craig.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Craig Bender, interesting life that you have at a very young age, by the way.
Yep.
I'm not gonna ask you how old you are, but we met, it was less than a year ago.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, I was so impressed with Craig, and I had just started up this podcast, and you're a marketing guy actually by trade.
I am.
You're a YouTube creator, Instagram, all that stuff, social media. And so Craig and I were drinking bourbon, we're smoking cigars, and I'm saying, hey man, I'm starting up this podcast. It's called Vaulted Views, and he's giving me some tips, and hey, here's what I think, and this and that. And I was like, you know what? One day I'm gonna have you on my show. And so here you are, man.
Today's the day. Thank you so much.
Today is the day. Don't screw it up. No, just and so let's just jump into it, man. I mean, what's your background? Like, how did this whole thing start? Getting into insurance. I was born. I like to joke. I was born into the financial planning business. I some people are born with a silver spoon, and I like to joke around that it was a silver HP 12C calculator. And so, I know your family. You shared with this with me before. Your family was in the family business of being an insurance agency. So, but you didn't always start out that way. So let's just jump into it. Tell me about your professional career.
Absolutely. So I would say that born and raised into the insurance industry, but there was a certain point where I think, and everyone experiences this from a family business perspective, is that sometimes it's not a good fit, or there's so many different struggles that can come along with a family operated business. But with my mother being inside the insurance industry, where my first real job was at a dealership where I was in the BDC department, where I would book appointments for the sales reps. Prior to that, I would fix and flip vehicles and got brought into the dealership. And my main mission, and I think that's where this was a cool aspect that helped me down the road, was my sole job there was to book appointments, was to get the individuals from an online lead into the dealership.
So if I heard you correctly, you're flipping cars, making some money, and you got hired into a car dealership, basically on the business development side of things, generating leads, scheduling appointments, and then eventually you became a car salesman yourself.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. So I was selling cars always for myself, but never the dealership, just doing it for booking appointments.
So
I didn't even make it that far.
Did he make? Oh, really?
Yeah, because of just everything that transpired and just where my journey really took me.
So here you are. You are now a marketing and lead generator for automobile dealerships. And so How'd you get into insurance?
Yeah, so with my family being inside the industry, I got licensed 18 years old and felt that it was important for me to have my license just as an option, and to be able to say, hey, I understand the language that my mom speaks every night at the dinner table. What I will say is that how I really got into the insurance industry was a very interesting perspective of, hey, we need to take this jump and this leap of faith inside myself. But before we got to that point, it was me selling insurance at the dealership. So I was known as Craig will insure U2. So every car or every appointment that was being booked from that perspective was, hey, if you also need insurance, which you do, Craig can insure U2.
So you're generating leads for the car dealership, and you're like, I need a side hustle. I can make more money if I got licensed to sell automobile insurance. It's a natural fit.
Yep.
It's brilliant,
Yeah.
right? So you're leveraging the marketing spend of the car dealership, right? They're paying you obviously to do your job.
Absolutely.
And then you're building friendships and trust with the salesman, right? The guys on the lot, they're like, hey, how much can you afford? Right? And then at the end, they're like, you know what? We helped you with your car, and guess what? Craig, he can insure you too.
That's what it was.
And then you were getting leads for free.
Yeah.
For your own side hustle.
Absolutely. And I would say even for free, because and that's the name of the game, right? It's, hey, how much will you give back to the sales reps for your business? Or, hey, if I refer you X amount of business, how much would you kick back? And my biggest situation, or my biggest belief, was I never gave any kickbacks, because I believe that I'm only going to provide value in the services that I was doing for their client, and I'll make them look like a rock star because they can trust me as an insurance professional for that great client experience.
And I think that's smart. That's smart because, kickback just kind of sounds kind of unprofessional.
Absolutely.
Right. So very wise at a young age, Craig. Yeah. Very proud of you. So now you got your side hustle rolling. You're crushing it. You're making good money at a young age, right? Things are probably pretty comfortable.
Oh yeah.
So, you got your own apartment?
Yep.
Yeah. Where are you from, by the way?
Long Island, New York.
You guys couldn't tell that from the accent, I bet. Long Island, New York. I love it, man. I used to spend a lot of time in New York back when I ran this alternative investment fund back in the days, and just loved it. That was like Manhattan, though. Spent a lot of time in Midtown.
Yeah, just there's no place like it. I don't think.
No, I haven't been there since COVID, quite honestly, but can't wait to go back. Actually, around the holidays, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Except for the $300 or so Uber ride I had to take from Midtown back to downtown.
Yeah.
They jack the rates up on you, right?
Yeah.
But that's life. So love New York. So Long Island, New York. So and then I don't want to jump into the story of your business today, Insure U2, but the bridge and how you got from your side hustle, which I think you called kind of Craig will insure you too, right?
Yeah.
To now you have this incredible marketing and sales consulting business that you call Insure U2. And so how did this happen, right? Like you got your side hustle. How did Insure U2 come about? Yeah.
So where the origins of Insure U2 came about in the dealership, right? Where Craig can insure U2. Unfortunately, we had to take a side turn out of the dealership where insurance became my main hustle. That was my main focus. And that was because my mother was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's terrible.
Yeah. Thank you. And she's all healthy now.
Great.
God bless. And just to think about the opportunity that was at hand, right? My mom, it's her baby. That's her agency. She's built it. She grew it to where it was at that point.
This is the family business.
That's the family business. This is what provided the life. And that was one perspective of why I thought I wanted to get into insurance, because of the amazing life that my mom was able to provide us and the opportunities of going on vacations and that financial freedom of being able to pick us up and bring me around. And I would go on sales appointments as a child with her. And I got to really see like, okay, I think I can do this business. Well, it wasn't until my mom got sick that she had to take a step away from the agency. I took a step up, came into the agency, and saw the opportunity that was at hand.
So let's go into that decision, right? So here you are, you got your own apartment, right? You're a bachelor, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're good with the ladies, but that's a whole different podcast, right? Making good money.
Yeah.
Mom gets sick and you've got a decision to make. Walk us through that.
Yeah. When you think of a decision of that caliber, when you think of, hey, I'm going to alter my whole life for someone that gave me birth and someone that is brought me into this life, that there is no decision. As a man, I need to take that responsibility and take foot into what my responsibility really should be and come into the insurance industry full head forward, full focus, and take care of what really needed to be taken care of.
Oh, good for you. I mean, I think any good son would take that challenge.
I would hope so. Absolutely.
Were you afraid?
Yeah. So there was some moments, but I think to offset the fright of what was ahead of me is only the right way of taking care of that, and processing that is preparation, right? So there was a lot of hours spent, a lot of time put in to really give me the foundation that I needed.
So, how long were you focusing on building up Mom's insurance agency before you leveraged your marketing skills that you were doing, obviously, for generating leads for the automobile dealership, right?
Yeah.
How did you combine those skills with Mom's business, and walk us through how your idea of Insure U2 came about from that?
Absolutely. So I believe that I went from, in the dealership, I went from selling a product, a want, to insurance, which is a need, right? Because anyone could walk into the dealership. They don't need to buy a car, but everyone needs ID cards to leave the car at the end of the day. So thinking about that decision of taking a step into the insurance industry, I realized that, okay, this is something that is going from a want to a need and is recession proof. So I stepped foot into there. Now it's, okay, how do I build a strong, full, mature business of clients? Because now we're dealing with two different types of clients, right? You go with clients that I would sell a car to that I would never see again, versus insurance where I'm speaking to you almost maybe every month, every 6 months, every 12 months on renewal. So regardless, I was speaking to you 2 to 3 times throughout the year. So understanding how can I build more of those relationships and what can I do? And that's where online marketing came into play, because I don't believe in buying leads. I don't believe in getting a bunch of lists to try to reach out and try to earn their business, where I know the value that I bring to the table, and understanding that if I can build a brand and an online presence for individuals to really understand who they would be dealing with and the team that's behind me, I felt like that was the angle to go. So instead of taking finances and putting it towards purchasing leads and trying to buy opportunities, I would create opportunities myself by creating that online brand presence and creating that content to sit well with my audience to then turn those prospects into clients.
I love that, because you're basically creating your own market.
Yes.
Right. You're creating content to speak to your ideal customer profile. They're following you online, and when they need you, there's no other choice but to hire you.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And so rather than spending money on some other, service to give you, cold names, you really are building a following, providing them with great content. So, and from that, you're building trust.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's also from a perspective of what kind of content can an insurance professional really make? And that's where brainstorming came into play. I got licensed as a defensive driving instructor, so I could teach the courses, but also be able to provide that content to my audience for safe driving, for example. So there's many different avenues that I took to drive the factor of how can I create more content? How can I give more value back to my clients?
And so you're doing this all within the kind of umbrella of Mom's business, right? And you're growing it, right? Yep. And so at what point did you say, I love the family business. I'm really good at it. I've learned everything. I'm scaling it, right? But it's not mine. What am I going to do? Am I going to continue running mom's business? Or do I take this that I've created within mom's business and do my own thing? Like, what was the thought process behind that?
So I would think that the structure, or what the structure really was when we look at different stages. So I've had Craig will Insure U2 since the early beginning, and then taking the processes that I've built over time and putting it into a journal, or creating a business plan out of it. And how can I really expand on this? Because same thing with the situation of me being at the dealership. I'm always looking, how can I maximize this opportunity that I have and really think outside the box? And that's where it pretty much came about, where I need to turn my processes, because they're working. Mm-hmm. At a certain point, they are doing exactly what it needs. They're doing exactly what they need to do as far as all my processes and flowing. And it felt like a well-oiled machine that I can turn this into its own business model. And I think from a perspective of, okay, do I take this and keep it for myself, or do I share this and can I provide this to other individuals? And I felt the importance of saying, hey, I can take my marketing ability and provide it to other insurance professionals. But now how am I going to do that? And that's when I was able to rebrand and readjust, because I feel like a big factor of just being in business is being able to adjust and get with the current times and just change, overall adapt. With all of that being said, I then recreated my brand as CB Insurance Broker, where I just wanted to be known as Craig Bender, the insurance broker. And then that's when I snipped off Insure U2 and created Insure U2 for its own entity.
Wow. I mean, you've been busy.
Yeah.
That's a lot. You know what I like about your story is there's along the lines similar to my story. You know, I mean, I acquired my father's business years ago and evolved it over time. And then recently, in the past several years, we built this wealth management platform business model where we can help other financial advisors, manage and grow their business by leveraging our marketing and our technology and our asset management solutions. And so I can see some parallels. Maybe that's why I like you. Great minds think alike.
I think so.
So here you are, you've got this Insure U2, this, really at the early stages of Insure U2, it was a marketing company, right? Yes. Marketing and branding for insurance agents, right? And so tell me about how it evolved into this marketing and sales consulting business with the AI component built in, because that's really interesting to me. And I know that there was a point in time we had an opportunity, whether you should take it or not. I mean, walk us through from that point.
So that was a point and a half. That was a opportunity that it's you feel like it's a gold mine. It's almost a no-brainer, but wait, it can't be this good. It cannot be this real of an opportunity. So going through the different processes that I created Insure U2 in 2018, but it didn't reach the market until 2024. There was a lot of trials, and I've had some clients in between, but why it took so long is because I had to make it I like to say dummy proof, in the essence of this has to be an absolute functioning business, because I had many businesses before, but with my young age, you're always learning, you're always adapting. So trying to create something that, okay, no, this is going to be legit and this is going to be for what it needs to be, started in January of 2024. And when you think about, or when I had to think about, okay, what do I need to do to really get this company off the ground? Or what do I need to do to get the company to where I want it to be? Was I need to expand nationally. And as of January, January of 2024, what I really focused on was I need to get the exposure out there. So traveling, going to multiple different states. I think we went to 14 different states throughout the first 6 months of the operation of, hey, I need to go to different events. I need to go to different associations. I need to meet different agency owners and share what Insure U2 was. And that was the proof was in the pudding.
And you're going to conferences. I've seen your videos online.
Yeah.
Right. You're like the man on the street at the conference, interviewing different people. Right.
Yeah.
So you're building your own personal brand and the Insure U2 brand.
Yeah.
Right. But there was a time you met a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah.
Right. His name's Christian. Right.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll have him on the podcast someday. You never know. He probably won't do it. He's too important for us. But you met Christian and he presented you with an opportunity.
Yeah. An opportunity of a lifetime. When I tell you that throughout the processes, always keeping in the back of my mind what is possible or the level of technology that can exist. And what I will say is that one of my best friends, which is his nephew, had introduced me to him. And he ended up, we were talking a little bit, and it was expressing to me that he had connections and he had a friend that has this software that has all these different capabilities. And where I stand, it's because I understand where the industry was going and what the technology needs to do in order for it to actually perform and make a difference inside the insurance space, was everything that Christian had said. And at that point, it became real. And at that point, it was, okay, do I take this gamble? And if he said that they had the software, it has the function, it has the capabilities. Do I jump on this plane this week and go check it out? And that was a hurdle. And that was a defining moment where I knew that if I came to California and the software was there, that was the missing component for Insure U2. And from that point, now it's time to play ball.
So there's a moment in time where, do you hop on the plane or do you just kind of stay put? You're crushing it. You're traveling all over the country. You're out there marketing, you're going to conferences, you're the man on the street, you're doing all those things. Or do you take a chance and evolve your company into this, what it is today, which is a marketing and sales consulting business instead of just a marketing and branding business, right?
Yep.
And so you hop on the plane and you come out to San Diego, you meet his friend, and then what happens?
It was amazing. First, I will say that I had an amazing time at the horse races. Thank you.
Oh, who was that with?
Yeah. So from just the hospitality and understanding the real world and what's out there, I felt like I owe a lot to Uncle Christian, in the sense of introducing me and showing me the ropes of understanding the levels to this game. Because at the end of the day, there are levels to this game, and understanding what is out there, how can it be used, the different approaches to take, so on and so forth. And he introduced me to a AI manufacturing company. This company can generate AI software. It's from Singapore. It's from the sense of, hey, when you think about a product, you're not going to the dealership and buying this vehicle. You're going to go to the manufacturing plant and build this vehicle. This is what it is. And understanding the capabilities of which this function is all about, it's, oh my goodness, this is everything that he said it would be. This is all of the different features that the insurance industry needs as of 2025. And now it comes into play where what's the possibilities? What can I do with this? How can I bring this to life? And that's when the gears just start rolling and we start to really think and plan and strategize.
So, and that's really when Insure U2 really was born.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, before you're a marketing company and you're generating leads and you're doing some branding work, but now it's like, not only can you generate leads for an insurance agent, now you can actually help them using AI technology close business.
Yeah. I mean, when you think of like the how they go hand in hand, right? So we're creating the branding and the marketing to be able to take a prospect or potential audience, convert them into an actual prospect, to then what is the other half of that? When you think of a marketing company, where did they lose traction? They lose traction at the finish line, because I can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. So thinking of that concept in business, it's that I can generate you all the leads that you want. However, what are you going to do to be able to close them? How are you going to prioritize those leads in a way where you're going to understand what they're actually looking for and be able to give them everything that they're looking for, educate them on which options would be better, and to be able to, I don't like to say close the deal, but to be able to assist them through the finish line with them choosing you as their insurance professional.
So that's really interesting. And so without getting into too much of the weeds, like what's the experience like from an insurance agent perspective when they use this technology? Because I've been following AI for a while now, and there's all sorts of capabilities, and I can only imagine like what the future can hold. But I'm fascinated because I know a little bit about what you shared with me about it, but just for the audience,
Yep.
What's the day in the life use case for an insurance agent?
Absolutely. And the beauty about this product is that you don't need to, it works with all expertise levels, right? So you could be an expert, you could be a novice. This software will be able to help you through your day-to-day operations. So when you think of different functionalities, you have where it's going to provide you live in real-time transcription of the conversation, which there could be other softwares out there that do that same task. However, what's different is the live time support, the objection handling, the real-time guidance where it's information's only as good as until you use it, right? So,
Right.
But now think of a software that if you don't have the answer to a question, but that software is able to provide you that answer in live time within 0.5 seconds of you needing that information, it's a no-brainer. And then from that perspective, also thinking about the other capabilities of saying, okay, now you need these applications, you need these supplemental applications, you need marketing flyers. Instead of you going to the documents, let's bring the documents to you. When it's called for, let's get it into the prompt. So having that capability of bringing real-time documents to your front screen on demand, opposed to you trying to shuffle through all the different files, figure out what did you label this document. So I think that there is multiple different aspects of the software to really be able to enhance an insurance professional's day-to-day operation.
So it's really like sales intelligence.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So you mentioned a novice insurance agent can leverage this technology. I imagine they don't sound like a novice on the phone.
Yeah.
If they're leveraging this tech.
Oh, absolutely. And when you really think about it, when you have a knowledge base complete, if you could take someone that knows nothing about insurance, put them in front of the software and see them just read the word for what's on the screen, because it's not scripted. It's something where it goes based off of the intent of the conversation. What is the intent of the client? Do they want an auto quote or do they want a homeowner quote? So it picks up those different cases to then be able to deliver the best response that agent should be able to provide, with the concept of trying to close the deal. So now I like to call it as professional karaoke, right? So now anyone might be a good singer, and there might be people that might be a terrible singer, but you give them karaoke, you just have to read the words. So when you think of that perspective of, wow, Insure U2 has the capability of turning anyone into a true insurance professional through this software, it kind of blows your mind, doesn't it?
I'm not sure if it's the bourbon or if it's the conversation that's blowing my mind right now, but this bourbon, by the way, is fantastic. Right?
Oh, it's amazing.
It's called Horse Soldier. I think it had something to do with Green Berets after 9/11 charging into Afghanistan on horseback.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe you guys check this bourbon out. It's actually fantastic. What do you think of it?
I love it.
So anyway, but so the commercial for the technology is over, folks. Let's get back to talking about business as I take a sip here. So let's talk about your obstacles. And, I'm sure it wasn't a linear path for you to get here to where Insure U2 is this sales, the marketing and sales consulting business today. But you've had obstacles, pushbacks, hurdles. What were the biggest ones you faced, and how did you overcome them?
I would say my age, my age being such or almost a limiting factor to what is possible. I think that I define the thought process of age. I'm thinking of the perspective, and I say that just wholeheartedly, is because you can't put age on a number. Same thing with friendship, right? You can't say, I've been friends with this individual for 15 years and then I have a good relationship with them, but I've also known this person for a year that you have an amazing relationship with. So when you really think about that and defining what I've been through, the time that I spend putting into my occupation, and not even to say that, I don't even call it an occupation or a job. This is a calling at the end of the day because I absolutely love what I do. When you think about the time and the thought and the knowledge that gets put into it and how hard that I work, I feel like I try to overcome that obstacle of, hey, you're not old enough, so you can't really you can't advise me of what to do with my money, or you can't advise me of what protection. That all gets washed away because of the time and effort that gets put into behind the scenes.
So bottom line is you can't judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely.
And so, I understand you could be introverted at times, which drives me to the question, how's that possible? A car salesman, lead generator type guy, in marketing, be introverted?
Yeah, so I would say originally I was extroverted. I felt like my whole life I was extroverted, and just to be able to see the different feelings that I've had and excitement. And then it got to a point where I'm doing so much that I felt like my body or myself was almost turning inwards, where when I'm not working, I feel like I'm an introvert. I just want to research. I want to study. I want to micro learn. I don't know if you've experienced micro learning, but it's probably my favorite thing to do, where I have a social media designed specifically for different aspects of life and business and different great informational pieces. And instead of me just scrolling aimlessly, watching these videos that are designed to entertain me, I'm watching videos that are teaching me something, where I'm able to save, file away the information, and really be able to look back at it as a resource.
Micro learning, isn't that what Aaron Rodgers does?
Oh, absolutely.
Micro learning? Yeah. No, micro dosing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like that too.
Yeah.
I love to study the business, continuously improving and learning. It's just kind of natural to me.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't really call it being introverted, though. I think it's more just owning and studying your craft and being excellent at what you do.
Absolutely. But now I feel like where my introvert comes into play is where it's like, I'm okay with being by myself. I mean, being able to not talk to anyone, to be able to come home and just kind of like digest my whole day, review everything that I have, and be okay with just pure silence. That is an aspect that I'm not used to and has been an obstacle to overcome. But then you substitute it with working out, with learning, with doing different tasks that are going to benefit only me, myself, and that's going to make me a better person.
It's called decompressing, Craig.
Okay.
And just wait till you get married, have kids. You're jumping from one ball game to the next, to dance lessons, to all those crazy things, and then making sure the wife is happy and all that stuff while running the business. You're gonna relish those times, man. Yeah. You're gonna love decompressing or being introverted. So yeah. I don't think that's a negative. I think it's a positive. Knowing how to take care of yourself is important being an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it's what you got. It's how you refuel. Mm-hmm. Right. So all successful entrepreneurs feel like there's at least a moment, sometimes many moments along their journey where they could lose it all. I know I felt that way, and people who've followed my journey know exactly what I'm talking about. Just go back to episode 1 with my father. But tell me about a time where you felt that way. It felt like it could all fall apart. You could lose everything. Yeah,
I would say the biggest thing is that pressure makes diamonds, right? So there are many times where I feel like it, and being an entrepreneur, like there's no one I can go to. There's no one that I can reflect. I mean, I have mentors and individuals that I can seek assistance with, but thinking about where, hey, like we need to make this happen. Like we have to be generating income for us to be able to excel to the next level, to get the next stages taken care of. I think that where that kind of comes into play is the biggest hurdle, or I would say the biggest obstacle is understanding, like, I want to say that there hasn't really been a situation that has broken me or that has created a lot of pressure. I feel like all my day to day is just very consumed with a lot of decision making, and how I'm able to overcome that is through a steady process to understand, okay, prioritization, understanding what do I need to do, and always looking at the solutions rather than the problems, right? One of my favorite all-time quotes is by Mr. Roosevelt is, "Don't tell me how rough the waters are, just bring the boat." And that speaks volumes to me.
Fantastic. You know, that's great advice. Don't tell me how rough the waters are. Just bring the boat.
Just bring the solution.
Yeah, bring the solution. Let's just figure it out.
Let's do it together.
Have a process for getting through those rough times when you feel like everything's all falling apart.
Absolutely.
Have a process. Stay calm. Know what the solution is, and just go for it.
Yep.
Fantastic. And so this has been great, Craig. I mean, so you've built up this incredible business called Insure U2, this marketing and sales consulting business, now leveraging artificial intelligence to help insurance agents help more people, you know, do more business with them. Would you say choose them to implement their insurance coverage, not close the deal?
Yeah,
Right.
Choose the insurance professional that's going to properly educate you, opposed to try to just sell you the policy.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like when you think about selling, we're not selling anything. We're just educating you, and we want to empower you we want to empower you to make the right decision.
So what is next for Insure U2, Craig?
I would say understanding where we are. We've had great successes over the course of the last 6 months. We've been international. We've dealt with insurance companies across seas in Asia and as well as in Europe. Thinking about what is really next, I think it's just identifying the areas of how can we get more of that type of business? How can we scale in the same fashion that we've gotten this far? So to think of where we're going to be, I'm not even thinking of that, because I look at this as the journey. The journey is the most exciting part. The processes, the day ins, day out, that's really the reward. And then the successes is to be able to stack small wins, because I'm very big with stacking small wins to equivalent to a large win. And I would say just thinking overall what the next step is just scaling and getting more of those top 10 insurance carriers and the insurers to be able to understand the services that we provide and really hone in on helping them to be able to provide a better insurance atmosphere for all consumers.
Fantastic. And, you know, I like to say success is a journey. It's not a destination. And, you know, just keep on winning, you know, winning little successes, like you just mentioned, little successes each day along the way. That's the definition of success. And if you're focused on a destination, you may never get there.
Absolutely.
All right. So, you know, I love your story, Craig. This has been a fantastic interview. It's a story about vision, right? Seeing beyond the present day by identifying opportunities, by integrating artificial intelligence in insurance, right? I mean, we all know insurance is not the most tech forward industry that's out there, right?
Absolutely.
So lift, right? I mean, rising above challenges. You've had the challenges of being a young entrepreneur in a kind of an older industry, right? And overcoming that perception, that lack of experience potentially with your age. I mean, you clearly know your business inside and out. That shouldn't hold you back. And what a great, you know, story there. And you know, trajectory is another one. This continuous growth. You call it being introverted and studying and all that other stuff, but it's really your dedication to continuous growth and evolution. I commend you for that. And then, of course, there's nothing without execution.
Absolutely.
And you've shown that not only do you have the vision and the resilience and the lift and the trajectory, but the ability to execute at a high level at a very young age, by the way, and win business. I mean, you kind of mentioned it under your breath, some overseas deals and some winning some kind of large insurers is very fascinating to me. And I just want to say congratulations, Craig.
Thank you.
And everybody, this is a great message. You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Absolutely.
And along the way, you might have some twists and turns, some ups and some downs, and if you stick to the course, you can win.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Craig, for joining the show.
Thank you so much.
And maybe we'll catch another bourbon sometime soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.